It's your summer. What the bird is barbecuing.
G'day jabronis, it is the Bird back with you again. Welcome here to week 4 match of the NPL. Tampa Frogadiers, we are up against Rizzy Pow and the Phoenix Sunfloras. Both of us, I believe, are at 3, no, not 3-1, we are 2-1, both of us right now in this league. I suffered a loss in round 2, Riz obviously suffering his loss last week. So very big game for both of us here. We're not in the same division, we're actually in different conferences, but big game medalists. One of us goes 3-1, one of us goes 2-2, which at this point of the season is really massive. It's crazy to think that like we're almost halfway through the regular season already. Insane, but you know what, right now we're on a positive record and I want to keep that going today with another big win. It's going to be tough though, because obviously, like I said in the team build, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Riz has a very, very scary team. And actually, I was a little bit surprised. Honestly, when I saw the matchup, I was very excited because I didn't see Corkscrewed and I didn't see Gengar, and there were two things that I thought for sure he was going to bring, but he didn't bring either of them. He brought Loom, which was very surprising. I knew that Loom was going to be a threat, but I didn't know if he would bring it or not, but he did, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of annoying, but we can play around that, it's fine. And you know, he just brought a lot of the stuff that I expected, and yeah, I was feeling good though. Going into the matchup, I felt pretty solid about it because I didn't really see too much that was overly threatening, and like even on turn 1, he led Greninja, I led Pinsir, and I was like, this is perfect, like this is literally how most of my turn 1s have gone. Like they lead Greninja, I can just go for my return plus fate and Ninja's gone. That's awesome. And I was like, okay, this is like a really good start for the game. So I go for return turn 1 as he actually goes hard into Aero. I don't know why I paused it, I didn't mean to pause it there. As I go for my return, I do 50, that immediately tells me that he's very offensive. Offensive to the point of like not having that much bulk, so that makes me think that potentially he is running like a Jolly nature or just an Adamant nature where he is investing in Def instead of anything else, so potentially maybe to try and live a Nihilego power gem, potentially. I wasn't like too sure if he was either running a ton of speed or if he was just running a ton of bulk that wasn't in HP or defense. So at this point, obviously my play, as you would know, like the way I wanted to play this game was I don't want to make too many bad plays. It's just like if I had an idea in my head, I had to stick with it, because the moment that I overthink stuff, like the worst things get for me. So I knew my play here was Kartana, as he actually doubles in a Loom, which is definitely a risk on his part, but also just a really smart play, because as you can see, like I don't really have any switch-ins for Loom, and at this point I decided to retreat from Kartana because I was looking at Calcs and Mark Punch doesn't knock me out, but Force Palm might, and the issue with Loom in this matchup was because I didn't bring rocks. It meant that if this was a Sash Loom, it was very annoying to deal with, and I had to play really carefully around it. So I decided to go Pinsir, because all the time I always just go Pinsir in this situation, and unfortunately he reads that, Rock Tombs, and Pinsir's dead, and I'm like, okay. So I go Zygarde here, which may seem like a bit of an interesting choice, but I had my reasons. Basically, so that obviously, I was very shook after that play. Mega Pinsir's last appearance for the Tampa Frogadiers, and that happens to him, less than ideal. But yeah, at this point I was in a bit of a backfoot situation. I was thinking about like, okay, walk up with my team, can come in and pressure this Breloom at this point. I was like, okay, I'm gonna say Zygarde, because Zygarde obviously can threaten by DDing up, and you know, if I am Lumberry or something, then it's a bad thing for his Loom. So I figured he was going to switch, and this is where I thought the 1000 Waves was going to come in really handy, because it made a lot of sense for him to go Clef on this turn, but he actually ends up sacking, well, he attempts to sack his freaking Arrow, and that sucks because we went 1000 Waves. That's really bad. I was like, oh, because if I was Arrows I would have died, but as you'll see later on, Waves does come in handy. He doubles out now to Kieran Black as I double out into Kartana again. In this situation, Smart Strike does not kill even no bulk Kieran, so there's no point risking this. I do have an Umbreon in the back, so I just go straight into my Umbreon. He beams it up, he does like the expected damage that I've been seeing from Kieran all the time. I decided to Baton Pass here because I figured Loom would come back in, and I choose this time to go Starmie. Now the reason why I wanted to go Starmie was that I didn't know if he was Scarf Breloom or Sashed, and this basically was the kind of the tester, because looking at the rest of my team, like he needs Loom to be as healthy as possible potentially, and so I figured what I could do here was maybe catch one of his mons on switch in. I decided to go for Dazzling Gleam because it was very obvious that Starmie was probably going to go for a Psychic, and I figured that, well actually Psychic or Ice Beam, and I figured because that's the case, he may want to try and go either hard Clef, hard Kieran, or hard Ninja. If that was the case, like especially hard Ninja, I could absolutely blow it away with an Analytic Dazzling Gleam, 2 KO that thing, take it out. But he actually chooses to go into Arrow again as a sack. So literally all Arrow did in this game was switch in on Pokemon, and he megas up, but because I am Scarfed, I am able to knock out Arrow, and it does go down. Revealing my Scarf quite early, but at the same time I think it was worth it. I go hard into Zygarde here, expecting Blaziken, as he does go for the knockoff, but it does reveal that I am a Z item. And again, on this turn I had to think about like what I wanted to do, and 100% I knew that he could go Loom, but at the same time I knew that there was a good chance I could go 1000 Waves Trap plus Iron Tail if I needed to knock that thing out, and he does actually choose to go Loom. I was really hoping he'd go Clef, but I do 1000 Waves, trap him here. Now, at this point he's at 79% health. I didn't really know Riz's spread. From the damage that I'd seen, I just kind of assumed he was a very bulky Loom, but judging on the damage that I'd seen for Z Iron Tail with no bulk for a Loom to what I saw now, I knew that there was a chance it would kill. It actually turns out, guys, that it was, I believe, like 73 to 80% was the roll. And it could have affected the game a lot, looking at like the long run. But what ends up happening is I do click my Z move because Breloom is trapped in, and we are actually able to get the roll and knock out Loom. So that was definitely unfortunate for Riz, but it's just one of those things that happen. Ninja comes in, I expected to want to go for Ice Beam, but it actually goes for Hazard, which is annoying, but I do make a decent string of plays here. I Baton Pass out to Starmie to threaten him into thinking that I may just try and kill him because I'm Scarfed. Since he switches out, I go for Rapid Spin. Now, obviously I'm Scarfed, so Scarf Spin there was a very risky play, because if he had gone for Dark Pulse there, it would have been bad. And according to Riz, apparently that turn, he actually, I believe, well, it wasn't on that turn, it was on a different turn where he chose to Spike and like, he wanted to Dark Pulse. But regardless, Spin there was great because he actually ends up going out to Clef. Now, I really want to go hard Kartana here, but it was no reason. I'm not going to play risky. I go Nihilego and he has the Slash Shock. It doesn't kill me though, because I have a bit of physical bulk in Nihilego, and I am able to fire off a Sludge Wave, which does a crap ton to frickin' Greninja. That puts it in range of Zygarde's E-Speed, which is massive in this matchup. It goes back into Clef, and look at the power of frickin' Analytics Gold. And the best part about Analytics 2 in this matchup is it puts enough damage onto Pokemon where Riz might assume that I'm actually a modest nature, not timid. So if he's Scarfed in other Pokemon, he might think, oh well, I'll outspeed it then because he's modest and I'm timid, or whatever. But regardless, I go hard Nihilego here because I figured in this situation he might want to heal himself, he might want to do something, but he actually chooses to aggressively double into Kira. Now this is fine by me because I can literally click down Power Gem and kill something. It turns out his Clef set was actually Focus Sash, which is a really cool bring, potentially late game. But now Nihilego's got a Beast Boost, he goes Greninja, and I decided to go hard into Umbreon here. The reason why I went hard Umbreon this turn was because I felt that he would go for Dark Pulse with Greninja to cover the potential Starmie play. As he does go for the Dark Pulse, obviously I take that just fine. He takes that Life Orb damage, and he's going to double out into Blaziken here as I actually fire off the Baton Pass out to Starmie again. And I actually choose on this turn to click, I believe it was Scald again. Reason why I clicked Scald there was because I really wanted to click Psychic, because Analytic Psychic would have done a ton. The reason I liked Scald in that play was that it would have killed Ninja anyway. I really like Spinning was a potential as well, but Scald got damage on Kira and potentially got the burn, which would have chipped it further, which would have been great. It killed Blaziken straight up, and it killed Ninja. So the fact that it killed 2 of his Mons and Kieran was the only switch in there, it made a lot of sense. If I went for Psychic and he went to Greninja, it was a really bad play for me. So I had to kind of cover as much as possible. And what this does open up though is the chance for me to just sack off my Nihilego. I could have spun and preserved it, but at the same time it wasn't worth it. As he doubles into Blaziken, this is really good for me though, because I can go hard into my Zygarde, and at this point what I can kind of do is set up my little checkmate situation, I suppose. So with the Mons that I have left, we know that we don't really know what the item on the Blaziken is just yet. We've only seen it click knockoff so far. We know Greninja is Life Orb, so we know that Zygarde can kill that thing with E-Speed from here, and Kyurem right now can't switch into an Iron Tail. So on this turn, I knew my play was Waves, because if Blaziken went for Will-O-Wisp, I could obviously take that Willow, like, I wouldn't take it great, but 1000 Waves would be a 2 KO on Blaziken. I would trap it in and kill it. If Blaziken went down, then I had the combination of Scarf Starmie plus Scarf Kartana, so no matter what kind of Kyurem set it was, I could handle it, and then they could also just revenge Greninja as well. So I felt in this situation I could literally Waves, and if he went Kyurem, then I weakened Kyurem to the point where I could just use Kartana or Starmie to kill it as well. So I felt like it was a really good position to be in, so I just clicked 1000 Waves here as he does go into Kyurem, and I am able to 1000 Waves it up here, get off a tremendous amount of damage, and my play I feel on this turn, I had a couple of 50-50 choices, so I was really tempted to go hard into Starmie, but I felt that there was a very good chance then he could just click a dragon move here, because obviously the dragon move would knock me out, and if I went Starmie, predicting the Ice Beam, and if the dragon move knocked out Starmie, that's a really bad thing for me, because Ninja and Blaziken can come in on Umbreon. So I decided to go into Umbreon here, and I had a tough choice to make, but I believe, obviously, the tough choice here was the fact that his first Ice Beam did about 33, and his second one did 29, so I could have gone for Protect that turn, and by going for Protect, it would have allowed me to be able to potentially live another Ice Beam, but I decided to actually go for Baton Pass on the off chance Riz doesn't want to risk a potential Protect Umbreon play there, but he does this Ice Beam. Honestly, that's the best play that could have happened for me there, because what I can just do here is go Starmie. Now this is actually a misplay, and I'm going to explain why it's a misplay, but it turns out well for me. But the reason why this is a misplay, I was doing calcs before in the match, and I was looking at how much analytic Dazzling Gleam could do to Clefable. In order to do that, I changed like the stuff on my Starmie spread on Showdown, and when I looked back for the Starmie calc for hitting Dazzling Gleam on Kyurem, it showed that it was killing, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. But then I realized when I looked back, it was looking at analytic Starmie's Dazzling Gleam on Kyurem, not regular Starmie, which is obviously going to outspeed. So the Dazzling Gleam roll was kind of there, but because, like I said, with the analytic boost I hit Clefable with earlier, it put it in the strike, but the turn, in my opinion, would be going hard Zygarde. The reason being is because if I go hard Zygarde and he potentially goes for like high jump kick or something, it's really bad for me. So I almost misplay here though, because it actually turns out that Riz had agility on his Blaziken. However, he didn't have weight on his Blaziken to be able to kill Zygarde, so it was kind of bad, but also kind of fine, because I could basically go for Dazzle here with Starmie regardless, and either way it was played out, I believe it would have been okay, judging on the turns that play out. But we go for Gleam, does an absolute chunk to this Blaziken, he goes for Knock and takes us out. And then I just go into Zygarde and I realize, okay, so the one thing that was kind of worrying me was Zygarde at this point is at, I think it was 63%, you can see it there. It doesn't show it there, but 63%, Kartana's a full, but there's a layer of spikes. If this was a mixed attacking Blaziken with HP Ice that outsped me, because I don't have that much HP investment in this Zygarde this time around, it would actually be able to kill me with the HP Ice, and then if he had Vacuum Wave, he'd be able to knock out Kartana. So that was a little bit scary. I was like, oh god, I could lose from here. But fortunately, I actually outspeed the Blaziken. I'm able to knock it out with 1,000 waves. So what it comes down to now is, what is this Kyurem spread? And that was like the big thing that I was contemplating. It took me a while to make this play, because I was really thinking about what my best option was, because I didn't really know what kind of Kyurem he was in this kind of situation. So the thoughts that were running through my head was, okay, is he potentially sub Kyurem? Is he Scarf Kyurem? Because he has been just clicking one move over and over again. And I was like, oh, he could be Babiri. So basically, to cut my losses, the play I go for here is E-Speed, because if he's not that bulky, like, judging on the damage, he's not a bulky Kyurem, so E-Speed should knock him down into the range where he can't set up a sub on me. It's like ridiculously in my favor for him not to be able to set up a sub in my face. And what it also does is it puts Kyurem into Kartana range, even if he is Babiri Berry. And also for Riz in this situation, he can't risk, he can't risk clicking Roost. Like if he had, I believe the Kyurem set had Roost, but in this situation you can't risk clicking it, because literally, in my opinion, like if I'm playing here, I could literally just click Outrage. If I was Zygarde, I could just freely click Outrage here, knock out Kyurem, it's done. So he has to kind of kill that and then hope that his Kyurem can live the Kartana hit. That's his play, because roosting here is a massive risk, because I haven't revealed my last move. Like, he could assume E-Speed, but also in this matchup, like, E-Speed is not the be-all, and actually no, I haven't shown on my moveset, so he doesn't know actually that I have Dragon Dance either. So there's two move slots there, they're anomalies, and he doesn't know if I'm DD or Outrage. So because I could also just potentially DD and then go for an Iron Tail, overall, his play is to attack there 110%, and he does choose to attack. I choose to E-speed, put him in range where he can't set up a sub, and he ice beams, and I'm like, okay, we're good. It was a very tough choice there for him, but we do Smart Strike, but Berry will not save Kieran, and your Tampa Frogadiers rack up their 3rd win of the season. We now go to 3-1 with a +2 differential. Not the best differential because our last 2 games we have just clutched through in both of them, but that was an insane game, Riz. Like, massive props to you, man. Go subscribe to Riz on his channel. You know, he's definitely got a lot more subs than me, but you know, he was just, Riz and I, we respect each other a lot, and so this was a very tough game for sure, but we were able to get through it, guys. So it's kind of crazy that we're almost at the halfway point of the season and we're chilling at 3-1. So even when we get to the halfway point, no matter what, we will be at least, you know, winning more than we're losing, and that's kind of crazy. I didn't expect it to be this positive of a start to the NPL season, especially like my first season. I didn't expect to do that well. I was more just here to learn and try and avoid relegation, but now it's like, well, I'm 3-1 in 4 weeks. You know, there's a potential chance for playoffs here, which is kind of crazy. But I'm not rushing ahead of myself. I have a very big game coming up next week against Mama Jolt, or TTM Jolt from the Token Minorities, however we want to call it, and the Toronto Raptors. Obviously, Jolt is one of the guys that really gave me my first chance in this league, or even like just in general, so gonna be a real great pleasure and honor to face him. But yeah, the thing I want to talk about just before I finish though, guys, is the transactions. So, as I said, this is going to be Pincer's last game for the team. Pincer is actually being dropped. Now, I know this is going to make a lot of people pissed off, but I'm looking at the future, at my last like matchups that I have against people, and I feel that the moms that I'm bringing in are going to be a lot more strong, and they're going to add a lot more dimensions to my team. So I can announce it now because basically the week's done, but basically I am dropping Mega Pincer and Smeargle and picking up Mega Beedrill and Empoleon. So some interesting changes there, I know. Obviously Smeargle had the Webs threat, which doesn't have any more, but Empoleon gives me a decent defensive steel type, another water type, which means that, you know, Starmie doesn't always need to be bulky water, but then again Empoleon can also be more aggressive too. Works really well with the grassy terrain, pairs really nicely with a lot of my team already, and it just gives my team so much more of a balance. I felt that things like Smeargle and Claydol and that were really letting the team down, but now, like, when your worst Pokemon is a Rotom regular form, that's really solid for me. It also just is, like, I can't talk enough of the Dumons. Mega Beedrill is great because it gives me another great speed tier like Starmie. You know, U-turn spam is just so damn good. With this team as well, being able to bait in so many Mons, it's fantastic. So I'm really happy to have picked up Mega Beedrill and Empoleon for my team. That's another transaction done. I'm probably not going to make any more, guys. I feel honestly like really solid with this team now, so get to stick with it and see how it goes. But that is going to do it for me. I hope you guys have enjoyed this match. If you have, don't forget to slap a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new around here. We're actually like getting reasonably close to 250 subs, which is kind of wild because I only just recently hit 200, so this is insane. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and last but not least, don't forget to comment down below about who you thought was the MVP of this game. If I was going to pick an MVP judging on the amount of work they put in, I would have to say it's between Starmie or Zygarde. I think Zygarde getting the clutch kill on Breloom was massive, but Starmie in that game, especially with the Scarf, was able to put in so much work. So I think it's between those two guys, but let me know what you guys think, and let me know how you feel about the transactions too, because I'd obviously love to hear your thoughts. But that's going to do it for me, guys. Tampa Frogadiers, like I said, we are 3-1 with a +2 differential. We have started this season incredibly strong. I'm hoping we can continue it next week against the Toronto Raptors. I'm the Bird. I'm out this bitch.